The end.
We did it. We just finished listening to the end of the book.
Yeah. Good job.
Here, babe, do you want to scoot in a little bit?
I told you I wanted to be on the outskirts of town.
Yeah, but I don't want you...
I don't think this one's movable.
I like to be weird and awkward.
There we go. Is that better? Yeah.
Compositionally.
Do you feel like I'm sitting on you?
What we're gonna do...
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna sit on our good friend Sun.
Yay! Welcome, Sun.
Hi. My name is Sun. I use they and them pronouns. Most of you probably know me. I don't think anyone who doesn't know you guys listens to this. Maybe.
If you don't, you just met a cool person.
Oh, wait. We don't have internet connectivity. What I'm doing right now is just covering up our faces.
Oh, yeah. So that we can't look at ourselves?
Look at ourselves.
The entire time.
That's because I get really distracted. Yeah. I mean, look at this face. How could you not?
How could you not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, welcome to the Rocky Mountain Book Club, everybody. Bex.
It's me.
Andrew. And with us, our very first guest, Sun.
Good. Hi.
Poet.
Clap.
Dungeon. We're not supposed to clap on the podcast, actually. That's the whole thing.
This is my favorite thing to do. It makes Andrew crazy.
Yeah. Well, you get excited and clap, and then people get mad at us.
No clapping. No clapping.
Look at this face, though. It's worth a clap.
It's worth maybe
not
one.
The clap, though. You don't want the clap.
It's a face that was made for clapping. I don't know what that means. Sun is a poet, a dungeon master.
That is also true.
A dope person that we like hanging out with. And Sun is also a fan of our book today, which you want to do the honors?
We read this month Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
What?
Which is a classic, the birth of sci-fi as a genre.
Mm-hmm. More sci-fi than horror, I would say.
Yes, I would agree. Most people think of it as like a horror thing because it has been made into so many bad horror movies. It's really not. It's sci-fi. It's an awesome little book. I was actually, as I was rereading it, I was like, there are things about this that I don't love. Like, I remember really loving this book, and on a second reread, I don't love it as much as I did when I was 17.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm a different person than I was when I was 17.
I think the character of Frankenstein, Victor, the doctor, is... to put it politely, douchebag.
Oh God, he's so whiny.
He is very whiny.
Oh my God, I made this thing and I hate it, man.
Yeah. He is pretty whiny, and also a coward.
Well, yes. Insofar as, like, it's interesting because he is a very performative. All the men in this, with the exception of his friend, seem very performative.
Yes.
The captain who is... this has one of those great structures where it's a guy telling a guy a story, and in the story he's telling another guy's telling him a story. And it's all conveyed in letters.
It does suck that it's in letters. Actually, the first edition was not.
Interesting.
The first edition, when it was released in 1816, starts at chapter 5 with, "It was a dreary day in November." What's the official line? I'll find it. It's like she went back and rewrote portions of it to make it more palatable for what was then a modern audience.
Okay, so is the whole framing device added?
I believe so, yes.
Interesting. I mean, that guy is also an interesting cat.
He is. He is kind of. So the original line that she started with was, "It was on a dreary night of November that I beheld the accomplishment of my toils," which is just a fantastic way to start a book, and she should have kept that. But you know.
Okay, for modern storytelling, I agree. Start with "It is alive" to like, which is where directors tend to start the story.
That's usually what they say in porn too. Once they can get it up, it's
Yeah.
alive.
That is, very much.
I've heard.
I've watched so much porn, and I don't think I've ever seen that.
Oh, you're watching bad porn.
You're
now.
watching the wrong
I gotta
porn.
watch the It's Alive porn.
Yeah.
Usually
I mean,
the
do
porn I
you?
watch, there's no light left in their eyes.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, I watched the Scream guy today. Fuck some bitch. And, oh, there we go. First 5 minutes, I think. Oh, shit, and I clapped!
You clapped and said the F word.
Hey
in the
guys,
first 5
don't
minutes.
do. You know that thing where you take a shot every time? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Dude, they wouldn't make it through any of these
Exactly.
podcasts. I always cuss within the first 5 minutes, which you're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I always clap because I get excited. Because I'm still 5.
Yeah, it's fine.
Moving on.
I would like to talk about Mary Shelley a bit.
Yeah, let's talk about Mary
she
Shelley.
was an interesting character.
Yeah.
She was born in 1797. Her mother was a feminist, like a famous feminist writer. Her dad was a radical philosopher, so she grew up around all these like free thinkers and artistic types. She met her future husband, Percy Shelley, when he was married to his first wife, Harriet.
Yeah.
They immediately hit it off and went on a multi-year-long vacation together.
Awkward.
While he was still married and fucking Harriet. Sorry.
We've already said fuck and shit, so I think we're good.
And immediately, as soon as she drowned herself, by the way, Harriet did. As soon as she drowned herself and her unborn child, they got married like 3 weeks later.
Saying it was the 1800s. We don't know.
It was pretty. It's pretty gnarly.
Sounds
okay?
like Mary Shelley had a lot more experience with the second half of the book than the first half.
I would agree, yeah.
I mean, okay, well, I kind of have to disagree on that one a little bit, only because I read something today where they were talking about Mary Shelley. Right before she wrote Frankenstein, she got pregnant and lost the baby. And she's documented as saying she wishes she could take the baby and bring it back to life and rub its limbs back to life. And I think that the whole creation of Frankenstein has to do with that loss of child.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can tell that there's definitely a connection there, if nothing else. I think most people know the story, but just in case you don't, Lord Byron, famous romantic British poet.
I wonder if you can make jerk-off gestures.
I think it's probably fine. Lord Byron never did anything that wasn't his idea.
That's true.
And it was his idea to have a ghost story competition. They were all trapped inside. It was rainy. It was the year without a summer, and they all were on vacation in Switzerland, and we're like, hey, you need something to do. And Lord Byron was like, all right, everybody write a ghost story. We'll have a competition. And that was sort of the impetus of Frankenstein.
Now, did he also write The Vampire weekend?
Yeah,
was that something
he was working on another story.
Oh, okay.
During that time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That story about the ghost story, it's not even just featured like on the internet and stuff. Wizards of the Coast use it for their Curse of Strahd module.
Yeah.
Sponsor us, Wizards.
They will never sponsor us. Honestly, if
fact,
Wizards,
I don't want them to.
Yeah, if Wizards is owned by Mattel, if they wanted to sponsor us, I would tell them to fuck off.
All about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a joke I've had in my back pocket since we decided on reading Frankenstein.
Yeah.
How much must it suck hanging out with Lord Byron that you write an entire book in a weekend to avoid him?
Yeah. I mean, he was a piece of shit, like, by all accounts. Nobody really liked the man, except for all of his lady friends, and then only while he was doing the deed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a note here. It was called The Year Without a Summer. Do you guys know this?
No.
It's also called
The Year Without a Summer.
Oh, was this the year where the Thames didn't unfreeze?
Yeah. So in 1815, the autumn, there was an eruption of a volcano in Indonesia called Mount Tambora. The volcanic eruption produced so much ash that it threw the globe into a volcanic winter. And so, like, it was rainy and cold and awful everywhere, even in the continent. I think, most of Britain just, like, had snow. It was record-breaking cold temperatures around the globe.
I know this because of an episode of Doctor Who.
Yeah. So anyway, that's just like a fun fact.
It's also called The Modern Prometheus.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really...
Yes, Frankenstein, yes. Sorry, back to the actual book.
Is that what were you guys talking about? Did I miss a beat?
It's good. The year without a summer, the year that Frankenstein was written.
I'm sorry. I'm
good, hon.
It's all track of the conversation that happens along. Lithium.
Hey. So that I thought was kind of an interesting thing. We wouldn't have Frankenstein without volcanoes. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. I've seen a couple of volcanoes erupt. Sometimes it's really pretty, and sometimes it's like, oh, we're gonna get covered in ash for 2 days, and this sucks.
Yeah.
And then you gotta clean it up, and it doesn't melt like snow.
No, it doesn't go away. So, I mean, I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts? Did you like the book? You hadn't read it before, yeah?
Hadn't read it before.
I had read it, like, a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I still had the copy.
Yeah, literally finished it seconds before we started the pod.
I was here.
Sorry, guys.
I did not finish.
My dad died this month, so this was an interesting...
Andrew has the most reasonable excuse known to man.
But I really did enjoy it. It's one of those things where if you haven't read a piece of classic literature, but you like to read and you care about literature, you know so much about it already. Like, I knew pretty much all the beats, except I didn't know exactly how it ended. And I wasn't really sure if he was going to kill all his friends or some of his friends. I knew about the French family, but pretty much I understood the characters for what they were before going in. I wasn't super surprised. I knew the good doctor was a well-intentioned man who didn't seem to have any sort of backbone. Or any like emotional intelligence for all of his good feelings towards his friends.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely. Sometimes I wonder if Shelley was writing, like with the intention of. I mean, her mom was a feminist, but like maybe it wasn't feminism. Necessarily that encouraged her to write about men predominantly in this book, but I do think it is an interesting note that the most negative traits that are all of the women are sort of like these beatific sort of like perfected versions of women.
Mary Sue's for sure, but they're also the way men talk about women when they're at sea.
Yes,
like,
very much
right?
So.
Like it sounds like something out of a pirate novel or something, almost, the way these women are perfect and gentle of spirit and
well, and like I was doing some digging because I wanted to know what we knew about life at the time that Mary Shelley was writing this. I mean, Darwin was still around, so like it's a long time ago.
So this is post World War II. She's English and traveling around Europe.
Not post World War II.
It's not post. It's
World War II was 1945. This is 1816.
Or no, I'm sorry. I meant post Civil War.
Post Civil War. That is correct. Yes.
Post Civil War. Obviously, science fiction had been around for a little while. Post World War II.
Yes, a little bit.
But no.
But I was just looking and
1870s, right?
No, 1816.
1816?
Yes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
okay, so pre-Civil War.
It was pre-Civil War.
Yeah.
So but 1816 is the summer that it was written.
And it was published under her husband's name.
Yes, originally, and then she finally got credit for it in the 1830s, I want to say, and that's when she wrote the foreword and everything. It's probably in her notes, but I was looking because I was curious.
1823.
Sorry. Did we know about DNA? Did we know about germs? Did we, all this stuff? So DNA was not named until 1929.
Right.
Which is within the last 100 years, if you were curious. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein was written 113 years before that. So it has been longer now since DNA was discovered than it was from the time that Mary Shelley wrote the book to when DNA was discovered. So that's kind of the science that she was working with at the time.
She's very vague.
Yeah, and like good for her, because I don't think we need the details of the scientific,
not. Well, and I think the vagueness allows for a certain amount of compassion towards the monster.
Absolutely.
The demon as well.
Yeah.
So rude.
I know.
So rude. Like, bitch, you made him.
Well, and that's kind of the point of the book, though, right?
Yeah.
Is like, Frankenstein turns his face on this monster as soon as he's created it and runs away.
I think it's a really, like, and I know that everybody agrees with me in this room, but I think it's like a really over comment on how women struggle during that time period, especially with the identity of putting on the Mary Sue face, and then but you also have like other things that you want to do, and right, you have desires and things you want to do and you can't. So some people, I lost the thought. Damn it.
That's okay.
Well, it's definitely an outsider story, like like this, especially when you shift from Frankenstein to the monster's perspective.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Oh, well, that actually brings up something that I took notes on. So go ahead and finish your thought, and I won't forget.
Oh, just that, I think that this story has appealed to outsiders of all kinds since it was written. It was appealing to the working class when it was written, because literacy rates were the highest they'd ever been.
Yeah.
And the monster had compassion for the poor, and then killed a bunch of rich people.
Yeah, which is, hey, a popular opinion.
And then you have...
We should just eat them. We should kill them and just eat them a little bit.
I mean, yes, you should, yes.
I'm hungry, sorry.
And through movies and stuff, but people who found the book through movies, you also get a lot of... punks and horror people in the States later. I think there's not my own experience, but folks have said that there's a large queer fan base for the book.
I made it out of that.
Piggyback. I'm
Taking
taking over.
Bex
Stop talking.
Yeah, Kyle, shut the fuck up now.
I wanted to piggyback on that because there is a huge. I'm sorry, I'm so wiggly. There's a huge comment inside the queer community about how a lot of people inside the community identify with the monster. A quote that I found I thought was really wonderful by Susan Stryker, who's a transgender woman. She said, "I find a deep affinity between myself as a transsexual woman and the monster in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Like the monster, I too am perceived as less than fully human due to the means of my embodiment. Like the monsters as well, my exclusion from human community fuels a deep and abiding rage in me that I, like the monster, direct against the conditions in which I must struggle to exist." And I thought that was really powerful. I had found some other notes about it that it might be a hot take. I may not have agreed with as much about how her writing Victor is creating the monster basically creates or eradicates the need for motherhood and femininity. And I couldn't get behind that one, and I read it in a few articles. But my thought was more just, I think this is her working out her trauma of losing her fucking kid.
I agree with you. Well, and I think she went on to have Percy's children very happily. And spoke even in her introduction to the book of how much she loved her family and how important it was to her. So I agree with you that I don't think that's necessarily a theme she was going for.
I was curious what you thought about that, because I think sometimes, when we're trying to identify with certain things, we pick things out and are like, oh, well, that speaks to me, so this is completely for me. But I on that one, I wanted your take on it.
Yeah, I think if people are, and this is true for every piece of literature, if people are finding things in a piece of literature that was not intended by the author, so much the better. If they're finding meaning in places where meaning was not intended and they're creating something there that wasn't there before, I think that's great in most circumstances. But I don't think that we have to and also I don't think that we have to be beholden to only the intent of the piece. Because the intent of the piece was to be a good ghost story, and that's not necessarily its best or only contribution to society as a whole. So I think it is cool that people have found meaning in that way. I don't agree with them. I don't see that, but that doesn't invalidate what they find.
The one thing I thought was really cool is that she actually helped a couple, and it was two women, a lesbian couple. She helped them escape, and I thought that was fucking rad.
Escape
it's really
from
rad.
England?
Hold on, let me look back at my notes because
I've the note.
Already forgotten what it said.
I think it's also
they escaped to France. Two female friends escaped to France disguised as a married couple.
Nice. To avoid being murdered.
Well, you can't travel alone as a woman.
Yeah.
At the time, in most circumstances, so somebody would have to be the man.
Yeah. It's also worth mentioning. So this is like a pretty common theme that people talk about with Frankenstein: the morality of knowledge. This relates to me. This relates to the Christian belief of like the tree of knowledge of good and evil. The idea that knowing something can be sinful or morally wrong. Victor Frankenstein is chasing after this truth of life, this truth of how to create and have control over life. And the idea that we shouldn't be seeking knowledge because it's morally wrong, I just want to say, is a method of control that religions have used easily for centuries. And there is that's not true. I just want to put that out there. Like we don't endorse that. I think any of us.
I think so. I would like to add a comment specifically to the content of the story versus the reality of the world we live in. Is I agree with you. No pursuit of knowledge is evil.
Mm-hmm.
However, the pursuit of knowledge can be very costly.
Sure.
And and there do have to be choices made as to what we spend our money on pursuing.
Well, and that was my next point, is like now is the time to be thinking about that question though.
Yeah.
What levers should we be pulling as humanity? What levers should we be trying to pull? In the realm of AI, when artificial intelligence is so costly, not just from a money perspective, but from an energy perspective, from an environmental perspective, from a human perspective. Do we want to be pouring more resources into that when it seems that all of our best chances at making something that is actually going to be useful and functional are failing? It's a question to be thinking about and to be mulling over on a global scale, not just on an individual one.
Well, and on something maybe even more on the nose to the book, we've got a ruling class that's desperately trying to keep themselves from dying because they think we're almost there.
Yeah.
And I don't think we are. I don't think most reasonable people think we are. But extremely, wealthy people aren't reasonable. They don't have to be.
Nope.
So the question, then becomes, well, what weird stuff are they working on at the moment? What, we already know it's out in the open, and, talked about in interviews that some of these guys, like, you know,
they're after the fountain of youth. They want to live forever.
Yeah, they're after the fountain of youth. They're injecting, children's blood into their bodies.
Don't Google it.
Well, or Google it,
or
because
Google
what
it.
I'm saying sounds stupid, right?
But it is real.
And it is real. It's not like, I'm not talking about, message boards. I'm talking about the New York Times is writing about this, and God knows they're not perfect either, but they're not going to lie about a guy with billions of dollars who's saying, hey, I'm injecting my child's blood into my body.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the point that I'm trying to achieve here is, like, I don't think that it is, on a personal level, I don't think that seeking knowledge is going to send you to hell. But I think that we are in a place of balance at the moment, where if we are spending too much time and energy even just buying into the idea that these passion projects are worth anything, and that they're somehow going to benefit more than just the richest of us, we are wasting our time.
Yeah, well, it is that interesting thing. It's like all pursuits are most pursuits are worthy, but when some of us get to pursue our passions much more strongly than everyone else, it warps what society becomes.
Yes, 100%. And that's all I'll say about that. I do also want to talk about how Frankenstein is a damn coward.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about how much I hate this man.
Emotionally, he's a coward more than anything else.
Oh my God, yeah. It's his number one trait.
He has some small amount of drive. He's got a tremendous amount of ambition. He has intelligence, and he has some level of personal certitude.
Sure.
Is that the word I'm looking for? That is can be troubling or admirable depending on the person who possesses it. But he can't talk to anyone about anything he's doing ever.
I actually wrote down in my notes, just communicate, you idiot.
Yeah.
And he just can't. He just cannot. If he had said one thing to anybody, if he had spoken up at any time to his sister, his family, like anybody.
The monster.
Yeah, just like to anyone. If he had just been like, hey guys, I think I made a mistake, that would have been cool. We could have ended the book. We could have ended the book right there. But he didn't do that.
Yeah, but like, communication is hard.
Yeah.
Some of us are like, we don't want to say, hey, I messed up, because we're already like in our heads like, I'm already a failure. If I tell them, they're just gonna be, I don't know what they're gonna be. It's fucking real anxiety, man, and I think the monster represents that.
Maybe,
too.
yeah. Something
that literally will eat you alive.
Well,
and tear you limb from limb.
That's an interesting and again, not something that is textual, but maybe unintentional from the author. But her perspective being so much more liberated than many around her, kind of brings us to that place. I think.
Yeah. The big theme of the book, though, to me is, and we kind of touched on this earlier, but isolation versus community.
Yeah.
Because both of our sort of major male leads, Frankenstein and the monster, spend almost the whole book isolated, right?
Yeah.
Like, we have Frankenstein, who from the very get-go says, I ignored my family and friends for years, focusing on this obsessive project. I didn't go home for Christmas. I didn't go home for holidays. I didn't take any breaks.
Part was so sad.
And he is intentionally isolating himself. And Shelley says that's not great, right? Because then he immediately gets sick and has to be nursed back to health.
Well,
and also everything that follows
makes him ill-equipped to deal with how the experiment turned out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also the monster, which is isolated by things outside of his control, factors that he can't control how he looks, how he approaches people. Early on,
Or
his
his
limited
level
ability
of
to
knowledge.
communicate.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And so these things are not really within his control to change. He changes what he can, and he tries to get better at communicating. He reaches out to someone who he thinks won't shun him immediately. And it still doesn't work out in his favor, but there, I think, like you said, though, there is a huge, any oppressed person, this is an easy allegory to people of color, LGBT people, disabled people, homeless people, any person that your eyes want to skip over on the street. It's really easy to see how people connect to this character of the monster so easily.
Well, and the monster even watched them interacting with someone different than them.
Yeah.
Now, it was a pretty girl who,
Sure.
dude wanted to be married to, but he had reason to believe he'd be accepted, and there's reason to believe that, one, if he had approached them differently, if things had gone down differently, maybe things would have ended differently.
Yeah.
And if he had left and come back and done things, given the old man a chance to explain what was going on, maybe things would have changed.
Yeah.
But things went down the way they did.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember that if we're talking about people who are isolated, oftentimes that is folks who are mentally or physically disabled, suffering some kind of addiction, marginalized in some way. Both healthy and sick people have better health outcomes when they have a support system. This is super true. This is scientifically proven. We have papers and papers and papers, years of research to prove that people who have community, that is the number one thing that is going to indicate whether or not somebody recovers from substance abuse, whether or not somebody stays on their medication, whether or not somebody is able to make it to doctor's appointments, whether or not somebody has housing. All of these things is so reliant on having that community. We are such social creatures.
You're super right on that. Like, inside the recovery community, like, they teach you, like, when you're going to be like a peer coach, they teach you the opposite of addiction is community. And it is true. Like, even it makes me mad because I see people like with unhoused people on the street, right? And they're flying signs, and they just like sit there with their window rolled up and don't even acknowledge them, and like it's dehumanizing. And I think inviting people back into our community who are marginalized I think it will help them get out of whatever they're in. I've been in recovery for 8 years and couldn't have done it without support.
Yeah. And also, like, we are always stronger together. Like, we also, as people who have resources, like, I work a full-time job, I have a car, I have a place to live. Me with resources, I also benefit from helping people who don't have resources, because by lifting other people up, they have the opportunity to then lift others up, lift me up if I'm struggling again in the future. And just like the benefit of like feeling like you helped somebody, like that in and of itself is like a selfish, maybe selfish is a strong word, but that is something that I benefit from
it's
experiencing.
Rewarding.
It really
it's
is,
rewarding.
Well, for sure.
It's like the byproduct of the thing, right? You don't do it for the feeling, but the feeling's what makes it bearable to keep doing.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's, I think, what I wanted to land on for this book is, like, I think people talk about, like, oh, is the monster Frankenstein or is the monster the monster? It doesn't matter, dude. What matters is that we're not isolating each other and ourselves.
The thing is we are all Frankenstein and we are all the monster.
Exactly.
What? Oh, yeah. Well,
I don't
we
think
are.
One is. I don't think either is separate.
You know, I think that there was very much. I mean, because this is fresh on my mind and fresh on many people's minds, but the whole manosphere thing that's been going on for a decade. It's been going on a lot longer than people want to pretend it's been going on, and it's just the most current incarnation of something. But you know, these are both two guys with I mean, Frankenstein has life experience of a type, but it is fairly, all things considered for his time, a fairly sheltered existence. And these guys are kind of pressed into a thought pattern that reminds me a lot of guys who don't think there's any way out. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, well, why'd you kill his wife on their wedding night?
Yeah.
Because I said I would, and there was no way out. I had to. He says at the end of the book, all of those deaths haunt me, and I hated doing them, and I didn't enjoy it, and I shouldn't have done them, but I said I was going to, and what else was I going to do? Suffer? You know, and it's like, yeah, man, you suffer to do the right thing, because that's the right thing.
Yeah.
You don't do the bad thing you want to do. It all felt very hustle culture to me.
Well, like, and it is a scathing reduction of hypermasculinity.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
She is saying things about the masculinity that she is observing from the men around her that she's in competition with while on vacation, from presumably her father and his friends, because her mother passed away when she was 11 days old.
Well,
from, you know, and so like she's definitely been exposed to this kind of like, I said I was going to do it, I'm going to keep my word, this pride, this arrogance, for her whole life, and she's not a fan. We can tell that easily.
And, you know, men hiding things, I think there's a clear commentary on men not letting women into their business because they don't think women are useful to the situation, or because their guilt and responsibility and fear of not being seen as strong will keep them away just as much. But I just thought it was so silly. It's like, fine, you know what? I can't track this motherfucker down. I'm having a wedding. He said he'd show up my wedding night.
Yeah. I'm
going to trap this guy.
Yeah.
And the only way he did it was by strapping a bunch of guns to his body and saying, when he shows up, I'm going to shoot him. And I'm going to tell you, built this guy faster and stronger and apparently smarter than most people. And you think you're just going to shoot him to death on your wedding night? You're using your wife as bait? That's weirder than saying, hey, honey, I made a guy.
Yeah. And he wants you dead because I've been bad. Like, there's an easier conversation to have there.
Because I had postpartum depression.
Yeah. So I wrote a poem. This was at a workshop, actually, a couple of years ago, run by Andrew Ziegler, also a local poet here in town.
Oh, good dude. I work with his dad.
Yeah, Andrew's really dope. I mean, not that you're not dope.
That's fine.
He's
all right. I am not.
Why are we pitting two bad bitches against each other? Yeah.
I'm not in competition with the other Andrews. We could be on the same team.
I think you guys are on the same team.
Some of them are fascists, though.
That's true.
Oh, I said the F word.
So this poem is about Frankenstein. It is in meter, so sorry if that freaks you out. Yay! I woke to selfhood, blightless, free, and promptly was disfigured. My maker did not see the curse that clung to me and withered. My visage strikes a terror in the hearts of those who see me. My stitched-on hands, my cobbled face, betray my heart so keenly. Back then, disgusted, fearing death, my sole creator vanished. And I, as naive as a babe, was left to become famished. For love, for friends, for anyone who understood my plight. I was alone and havenless. I stumbled through the night. What could I do? I had been injured dreadfully with grief. The only path which made sense was of vengeance and release. The child died, 'tis true, and 'twas my hand that did the deed. But who was it who raised me out of ignorance and greed?
I like that.
Thank you. I wrote that in about, I think, like 3 minutes. It came out of me.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
the nice
it when
thing
it writes
about
itself.
Yeah.
writing workshops.
Yeah,
It's like,
it so you know
put
it's
the timer on.
yeah it's I love. I mean, we've been talking about this the whole time. I love the concept of Frankenstein as like this sort of in his own mind, he's so justified by the actions that he's doing, and then he becomes so tortured by it. And I don't know.
He doesn't really have a reason for what. That's the most fascinating part. He's disgusted by it, and
he hates what he's doing, even as he's doing it.
Well, it's driving him crazy while he's doing it, and once he does it, he's disgusted by it. Like.
Kind of like whoring.
Yeah. Oh, how do you guys...
Sorry. I'll cut
no,
that
it's
out.
great. It's great. I think you should leave it in.
How do you guys feel about the whole idea of him, like... I mean, because obviously this is also... And after this, I think we should talk about differences in pop culture versus the actual book. But, it does make appearances in pop culture, including a movie I did not see in theaters and may not see
the most
at all.
recent one?
The most recent.
Is that a Del Toro film?
No, well, I
Yeah,
haven't
it
seen
is.
that one
It
yet,
is a
and
Del Toro
The
film.
Bride also just came out.
Oh, I do want to see that.
And Frankenstein's monster, in the final stretch of the book, that kind of what leads to the massacre in the final stages of the book is the monster comes to Frankenstein and he's like, I am lonely, I am hated. You hate me, I cannot. Doesn't even ask him for love, I don't think. Doesn't say, hey, aren't you sorry? He just says, I need you to make me a girlfriend.
Pretty much.
And you know, it's not really discussed. It does discuss him going to charnel houses earlier. This is a difference. It goes to like studying bones and stuff, but it doesn't talk about him stitching together this body.
Mm-hmm.
My understanding is this body is grown somehow.
Maybe.
Grown or molded and then given life. But I did not get the impression that he took a brain out of a dead guy and put it in this guy.
Though that is very much the pop culture.
That is the pop
Yeah,
culture
isn't the brain
understanding.
from somebody named Abby Normal?
Yes, in the best adaptation,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And what's that called?
That young Frankenstein.
You said it wrong. It's Frankenstein.
My favorite Mel Brooks movie.
It's the best
I don't
one.
watch anything, so I don't know what you guys are talking about.
It's okay. Well,
I've seen
the
the 1920s black and white
The old,
Frankenstein.
like,
old
horror
Yeah.
one.
I saw Lisa Frankenstein a couple of years ago, which was very loosely adapted on it, where a girl like grows a boyfriend.
That's pretty
And
sad.
every time she sews a new part onto him from the graveyard, he becomes more sentient. I thought it was
So
a
it's
fun
just
adaptation.
warm
It
bodies?
was really fun.
There was already a book and a movie called Warm Bodies
Well,
about zombies.
I didn't read that. This
Okay.
is called Lisa Frankenstein, and they released it a few years ago in the theaters, and it's a Gen Z movie, and it really is delightful. Like, she steals body parts from people who have been buried for a while, because her dad, I think her dad works at the cemetery. Maybe not. I saw it once. It was cute.
Okay, let me ask you guys this.
Mm-hmm.
If we're just growing people, do you think that's wrong or do you think it's fine?
Depends on the sentience of the people.
If you're growing an 8 foot tall hyper, how'd they put it? Not hyper limber. He's more dexterous than the average person. He's faster than the average person, and apparently may have more mental acuity than the average person, considering he learned language over the course of a summer through looking through a hole in a wall.
I have mixed feelings about people creating babies the normal way that we've been doing.
Right.
So I'm not the best person to ask this question to.
Why bring any life into this hellscape?
Yeah, pretty much. No, it's not quite that dire. I think I think creating a life as things is something that we don't really take very seriously in our current political climate, or maybe just our current social climate. And especially here in the United States, we have this idea that kids are property. And I don't think that would get any better if we were growing bodies. Yeah. So I think as long as the bodies involved do not have their own autonomy, I'm against.
Not to mention, the human race has proven if they think they have the drop on you and they have more intelligence than you, that they can enslave you. And even if you don't have the level of intelligence or sentience that, most people have, even if you have, a lower understanding of formal education or just a grasp on social norms. I forgot what we have proven that we will enslave that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are the board.
So what you're saying is if we can make people smarter, we'll definitely make them stupider and enslave them.
100%.
Exactly.
That's a good point.
I mean, George Orwell also pointed that out.
As did Boots Riley
Aldous
Sorry
Huxley,
to Bother You.
Yeah, people have been saying this for time immemorial.
Sorry to bother you. I haven't read the book, but that movie is...
Is there a book?
Is there a book?
I don't think so.
I thought there was a book. I thought that's what you said.
Sorry to Bother You is an interesting companion story to... Have you seen it?
No.
It's unsettling.
I saw The Matrix first time like a month ago. So.
Yeah, okay,
cool.
fair.
I'm a baby. I did like it.
Fuck yeah.
Most people haven't seen Sorry to Bother You, but it's Boots Riley, who's a black activist, made a movie where, spoilers, to the end of a pretty niche movie. It turns out they're selling. It's a black guy who's selling like arms over the phone. He's selling weapons and he uses a white guy voice. Yeah. But it also turns out that company is trying to turn black people into horse people to do manual labor.
Sick.
Yeah.
Love that.
It's an interesting.
I don't love that.
Yeah.
That's why I started shouting. I was like, sorry, we don't love that.
Just to be clear, I don't love that. I have started saying that whenever anybody comes up to me with a problem at work. Yeah. I'm like, I love that. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yep. Sarcasm becomes reality.
That shit's hard though because people are sarcastic and I'm like, wait, really?
Yeah. Let's see. What we've got a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
What do we want to say about Frankenstein? Sorry guys, usually we ramble for like an hour and a half, but
this is good. I think I don't know. I think it's first of all, read classic fiction. That's number one. If you have not read Frankenstein, read it. If you have not read, I don't know, if there's any classic book that you're like, I haven't read that, read a Shakespeare play, read something, because humans, there's nothing new under the sun, and humans have been doing the same thing, which is telling stories since we were paintings on cave walls. So do that. I think it's really important. Read the Canterbury Tales.
Okay, hold on. Read Frankenstein before you read
Frankenstein before you read the Canterbury Tales.
The Canterbury Tales is legitimately difficult to read.
It is harder to read.
Frankenstein was written over 200 years ago, but it is still a very simple book to understand.
Look at that. You can read that. It's just short, easy.
Yep. It was written about our first book that we covered was Little Women, that was written during and after the war.
Yeah.
I love that
this was written 50 years before that.
Yeah.
I love that we've now covered two, female authors. Mm-hmm. And female authors
a very edgelordy early 2000s author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, we gotta have something.
I can't wait till we get to July. I think we're doing Jurassic Park for that one.
That's pretty dope.
I read that in high school.
But I mean, the other thing that I would like to impose upon the audience, if you're not willing to pick up an old book and read it, is, this is not necessarily a story about who the monster is. We're all the monster. It's a story about how can we have fewer monsters in the world, and that's not like fewer humans. I know we just said we're all the monster, but like, how can we make sure that we are taking care of each other?
Well, if monsters just give each other hugs, we'll quit being monsters to each other. See?
Like, this works.
Or maybe you'll just start monstering together.
Could be.
Hot. I'd like to see
I'd
that.
watch that.
I would pay for that.
I'd sell tickets.
No, you're going to get cucked in the corner.
Yeah, I'm selling the tickets.
Yeah, in the corner.
In the corner.
In the
cuck chair. I'm still making money off those tickets.
That's fine. Hire Andrew, by the way.
Yeah.
His dad died.
Yeah, but like I think it's really important to have. Sorry about his dad. It's a little late.
I know, but I keep saying it so callously. I'm like, his dad died. Give him money.
She posted something.
Yeah.
On Facebook that was funny earlier.
Yeah. But I do think it's important, like, to take care of each other and to build community, and that's the most important thing. The most important thing is to be building community.
It shows. Yeah, you're right. The point of this book is guys are douchebags when they self-isolate and only focus on their work, which is something that guys like to do because it's what we're told is our only value. Mm-hmm. But we need community just as much as women do. We need community just as much as guys who weren't on the football team. Mm-hmm. I also wasn't on the football team. Mm-hmm. I think this is, if I could say, like, a book with a lot of insight about a changing world.
Yeah, very much so.
A world that was moving a lot faster than it had been
up until that point, and a world that I think Mary Shelley conveyed would only start getting faster. Yeah.
I mean, it starts with an expedition to the Arctic.
Yeah.
And
she was so right, because like we have done the expedition to the Arctic, we have done the cloning thing. We have it's old news. The things that she talks about in her book as if they're revelations were only fantasy to her and have been realized now in the 21st century.
And she speaks with which the how slow and boring the process of science had become, you know, in the age that they lived in. And they were still drilling holes in people's heads, right, to get rid of headaches.
Absolutely.
Right? Like they were wilding out compared to the way we do science now.
Yeah, well, and tuberculosis was still a huge thing. They hadn't discovered germs. Germ theory was a twinkle in his granny's eye.
Doc Holliday wasn't even born yet.
No, yeah, and so we didn't have an understanding of genomes. We didn't have an understanding of DNA. We didn't have an understanding of cancer. There are many things that we now can treat that we have only been able to treat for 50 or 100 years that were deadly, deadly threats to Mary and to her compatriots of that time.
And it should probably be noted that her work, like, for as much as I do not want to put more importance on science fiction than it has, her work inspired people.
Yeah.
To get into preventative medicine and to, like, approach it with compassion.
Yeah, absolutely. And furthermore, her work has inspired an entire genre of fiction that we now get to enjoy. She was absolutely the mother of science fiction. It didn't really exist before her.
Not
in any like functional way.
Yeah. I'll piggyback on that.
Yeah, do it.
I would like to talk about her most famous and notable works.
Yay!
So that way, you know, if you've already read Frankenstein, maybe you can check these out. I've never read any of these, but they sounded cool. Besides Frankenstein, we had 1826, The Last Man. This is a dystopian novel set in the future depicting a world ravaged by a pandemic, and it's noted for its prophetic themes. I'm not sure what that means. Thank you, Wikipedia.
I mean, we did just live through a pandemic, so
True that.
Maybe that's the prophecy.
Probably. It's Valperga or Valperga. It's also known the life and adventures of Castruccio, Prince of Lucca. 1823, that's a historical novel showcasing her extensive research and political thought. Kind of want to listen to these and see what's going on. Matilda, it was 1819. That's a shorter novella that focuses on personal tragedy, emotional themes, and complex relationships. And that would have been
not about a magical girl.
No. It's spelled with an H.
Oh.
Matilda. We've also got The Fortunes of Perkin Warbeck, 1830. That's a historical romance. And then she has two final novels, which are Lodore, 1835, and Faulkner, 1837. And they are more domestic and autobiographical in nature. And then she wrote A History of a 6 Weeks Tour in 1817. It's a travelogue that she wrote with her husband, Percy. Is that Bichet?
I have no idea.
Percy Shelley.
Percy, yeah.
It is interesting.
Beisch, maybe? I don't know.
It details their journeys in Europe.
It's interesting to me that for basically since the invention of the steamship and realistically cheap printing onward until about halfway through the 20th century, so about 150 years, every novel that they push on you in school or that lasted is all about people who lived lives like I did as a kid, that were, we lived in 6 different countries, and we all had a rich uncle that handled it. I did not have a rich uncle that handled everything, but we had a rich uncle that handled everything. But like most of literature from like 1800 to the 1950s, that's what it was.
So Jane Eyre is kind of like that, except I think that they adopted. They made me read that book like 4 times in high school, and I hated it so much.
Really?
Every time I blocked it out.
I hated Island of the Blue Dolphins. That was mine, which everyone loves, and The Scarlet Letter, which also everyone loves. I know.
So
I watched the play.
I watched the Demi Moore movie. It was pretty good.
I have not touched anything to do with either of those books since high school, so
cool.
I relate to you.
Yeah, cool.
With that.
Jane Eyre, I wanted to dig my eyeball out with a fork. Fuck you, Charlotte Bronte.
That's a strong opinion. I love the
For
Bronte
that
sisters.
book alone.
I love the Bronte
Next
sisters.
on the
Wait,
podcast.
is that Charlotte or Emily? I think
No, next time you have me back, I want to do Shakespeare. I think that's
Emily
next
Bronte.
time.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But if we do Shakespeare, which one?
Well, do you want a comedy or a tragedy or a history?
Yes.
Oh God. Okay.
I don't like I think the tragedies are dumb. I'm gonna be honest. I think the tragedies are dumb.
Then Much Ado About Nothing.
I love that. I was in that in high school. We
yeah.
could do Much Ado
Much
About
Ado.
That.
I like The Tempest too.
Tempest is good.
Is fun.
Yes.
Merchant of Venice is funny.
Taming of the Shrew.
Love that.
Yeah.
I saw Kiss Me Kate when I lived in New York, which is a musical adaptation of that, and it was delightful.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah.
Brian Stokes Mitchell played the bro.
But for those who
He's
don't
more
know,
beautiful in person.
God, that's upsetting to hear.
Much Ado About Nothing, in my opinion, is the invention of the sitcom.
Agree.
Like it's kind of a
I'll
perfect
much to talk
comedy
about
of
when you
errors.
have me back for that.
Much to talk about and much to do about nothing. We'll probably do that early next year.
Sounds good.
Do we have something set up for next month yet? Next
Yeah,
month's
who's your
book?
next month's spot?
I think it's in my notebook. I don't think I have it in my notes.
Do you know what book you're doing?
That's what we're trying to remember.
No. Cool. You guys are such good podcasters.
Yeah.
No.
It's been
So catch us
That's
next
fine.
My
month.
dad died.
Yeah. We won't be this depressed next month.
Wait, hold on. Let me think about it, because we did. What did we do the first? Little Women.
John dies at the end.
Frankenstein. It's a U book next.
It's a me book next,
Yeah.
and we're doing ladies and gentlemen, next month. It's a short one. I do not remember both authors' names, but it is one of probably my favorite book that I've read in the last 5 years. A newer book that I've read in the last 5 years. This is what happened, or this is how you lose
the Time War, which is by Amal El-Mohtar and Max Gladstone.
Yes.
I do remember that.
And it is genuinely
I love that book.
A wonderful book.
I just gave that to my roommate to start reading because
Yeah.
I was like, this is really good. You have to read this.
Yeah.
I tried to listen to it.
It's delightful.
It's hard because I can't picture it. So
Yeah.
I'm just listening to her talk about a red robot. And
Yeah.
I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It was a sign that my marriage was crumbling when I showed it to my ex, and I was like, "You should check this out. It's really short. Listen to it while you're at work." And on break, I was like, "Did you listen to it?" She was like, "Yeah. Why do you like a gay book?" And I was like, "Oh no, are you gay?"
Uh-oh.
Weird.
God.
It's not even that gay. They're not even human beings.
They're like, it's like barely gay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
kind of gay.
It's pretty gay.
It's pretty gay, but the characters.
Are not. They're okay.
So it's like gay-ish.
It's gay for sure.
Gay adjacent.
I would say that it is fully gay, but it's not like annoying about it.
So it's not gay.
I would say it is primarily it is a love story that is primarily a science fiction and epistolary story that is about how war is stupid.
Yes.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, I can see how that would resonate with you. Yeah, for sure. Well, have fun with that, guys. Thanks for having me on.
It's another book of life. I am devastated. But,
there's a clap.
But we have to end the episode.
We have to go. We have to get out of here.
I love you all different amounts. Goodbye. Oh God. 1 hour, 7 minutes.